and she's she now lives in South Carolina.
Really?
So she's coming. I got twins born a few months ago, or 6 months ago. So came to hang out with them.
What a ride. Congratulations, man. That's
Thanks,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, last we spoke, I mean, I've shared a lot about you. I don't know, maybe you heard, maybe you didn't. Last we spoke, you were the one who really got me into like Tony Robbins and stuff like that.
And I saw you at the event.
Yeah, we saw you at the event. And then after that, it's just been like on fire. I really appreciate that. Not only that, Scott, but as I was telling everybody, I've been doing loans for 20 years, and I think it was about 15 or so when we met. And all my managers always told me, like, hey, just go call realtors. And you were the first person to go, yeah, no, watch me call, and then I'll do it. And it just created so much. So I'm really excited to have you here with us, man. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, today kind of taking the day off in a way. So I'm bringing my son to a Lakers game. He's always wanted to go. So we're hanging out with my mom that's visiting, and then we're bringing him to the Lakers game today. So I'm just chilling today.
That's great.
Which is unusual. Everyone that's on call, usually I'm grinding and working, but I'm very balanced working. So
yeah, I didn't tell everybody that those conversations we had were at 10 p.m. at night after you were getting home from work and just making it happen. I think your goal at the time was to hit 100 million, I think. And now you're at like 268. I'm going off memory. I should have that written down.
300 million last year. And then my goal is to get back up. I mean, my goal is to be #1 on the Scotsman's Guide. That's my goal. So I'm not going to stop until I accomplish it, which I know I will.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too, man. Well, I really appreciate you taking the hour with us. So what Loan Officer Academy is I don't know why I created it about a year ago, but it's really a place for loan officers to go, get some help in growing, get some leadership. We also have our Monday Magic where we all call together, those who join Realtors and stuff like that. And yeah, just taking the time with you, Scott. I mean, I think a lot of the pain that people are reaching out to me is how to create those realtor relationships. And you're so good at it. I'm hoping that we can talk a little bit about that and how you train people and how you get them up to speed.
Well, I mean, I'm not so much training people at the moment.
Right.
Where I mean, I have people that are in my branch,
Right.
but what, I don't know if you guys know, my focus, what I've started doing about 5 years ago are these home buying seminars.
Okay.
So I do VA home buying seminars and regular traditional home buying seminars.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason, I stumbled across this is, let's face it, like, what's the ultimate value proposition to a realtor is frankly giving them business.
Right.
And we don't really have business to give to them. And, the rewind, when I was coaching Paul for a quick second at cross country, I shared with him the scripts that someone shared with me when I first got in the business in 2006. And they're Mike Ferry based scripts. And it used to be like, I would call an agent, pretend Paul's a realtor, right? Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Paul, this is Scott Evans with Cross Country Mortgage. I noticed you had a brand new listing on 123 Main Street. Congratulations on that listing.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott.
Oh, you're so welcome. The reason for the call, Paul, is I like to align myself with top and active agents just like yourself. And I want to sit down with you for about 10 to 15 minutes to share with you how I can help you add even more transactions to your year in 2023. Paul, are you available Monday, or does Tuesday work better for you?
So, we're already working with somebody.
Paul, I can appreciate a great relationship, and I'm not looking to get 100% of your business, but I'm curious, are you interested in adding more transactions to your year?
I love that question. Yeah, that's a tough question to say no to.
Sorry, I thought it was, so that's exactly why we need to meet. Yeah. Paul, you available Monday, or does Tuesday work better for you?
Okay. What if they ask you to just email them something? Because we're getting a lot of that, Scott. We're getting a lot of, hey, just email me.
So, all right, let's go to my objection. I'm just trying to think of how I would handle that, because just so you guys know, I don't do this script anymore.
You don't have
It's,
to.
I haven't done it forever, right? But
Yeah.
I remember it because that's what I used to do all the time.
Yeah.
And the approach now is totally different. Like, it's like taking candy from a baby,
Yeah.
right? It's not even fair,
Right.
what I'm doing now, because I mean, I can go after anyone. But if I was emailing, look, I absolutely could, I mean, how would I handle that? I used to have a really good line for it. I'm just trying to think of, let me get back to you on the email, because
Yeah.
I used to have a really good objection handling for the email,
Right.
but I don't remember exactly what it was.
Well, let me refresh what you told me years ago, and I still use it to this day. Because you were like, I would be happy to email me. There's two responses you told me, and I would love to hear what your feedback is today on it.
Yep.
The first one was, what would I need to put in that email for you to sit down with an appointment? And number two is, hey, I would love to email you, but let me just ask you a question. Are you just trying to get me off the phone? What's the real objection?
Those are both great.
Yeah, I wonder where I got them from.
Yeah. No, yeah. So sometimes I would just go right into the value as well on the phone, as you know, you know, back then. So to give you guys an example of how I would create value in the presentation previously, because let's face it, like, we don't all have business to create to give to the realtor. So I had to create value out of the activities that they were already doing, right? Which, if you're asking a realtor what they're looking for, they're all going to say it's pretty much the same 6 to 7 answers, right? Communicate, right? Do what you say you're going to do. Close my deal on time, right? I mean, there's not many things that they're really truly looking for.
Right.
So when I would say I wanted to create value and help them add more transactions, so let's assume Paul does open houses, right? This would be one approach. So Paul, you mentioned that you hold open houses, correct?
I do.
And how many open houses would you say you hold each month?
Probably 4, maybe 5.
4 to 5. And how many prospective buyers would you say come walking through each one of those open houses?
God, that's a great question. Probably 3 or 4.
3 to 4. So it's anywhere from 15 to 20 prospective buyers each month, correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so over a year, I mean, that could be 100 to 200 prospective buyers over a given year.
Right.
So Paul, if you had a professional loan officer such as myself follow with every single one of those open house attendees within 24 hours to determine their motivation and financial ability to purchase a home in the next 30 to 60 days, I mean, what would that do to your business?
Got it. I mean, that would definitely add 3 bit. That would add 3 deals at least a year on a 3% conversion rate of 100 people. But so one of the tricks though, one of the questions is how do these realtors, I mean, I guess they have to play a part of it too, because a lot of them don't want to collect names and stuff like that. Correct. I guess there's no objection to that or response to that. If they don't want to participate, then it doesn't happen. Right. You know what I mean by that, Scott?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, then that's not the
right realtor.
If they're not collecting the names, then it doesn't really help us out.
No.
And the script that I used to, which Paul, I'll send it to you, it's let me find it on my phone. I still have my CMG like logos and stuff on it when I worked at Financial. But this was a script that we created. So an example script, and you might even send this to the realtor, was, hey Paul, this is Scott Evans with Cross Country Mortgage. You stopped by Jane Smith's listing on 123 Main Street. The seller would be happy to get an unbiased opinion about the home. Do you have a few minutes with me?
Yeah.
So what we're going to the approach of asking on behalf of the seller.
Yeah.
Right. And so the agents love it because it's gathering data. Right. On a scale from well, first I have a question, Paul. When do you plan on moving? So now we're determining motivation from the buyer. On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being poor, 10 being excellent, how would you rate the home on the following: condition, decorating, floor plan, whatever type, price.
Right.
If you were to move, where would you go next?
Right.
And when would you want to be there? Are you interested in making an offer on this home?
Right.
What price would that home have to be if you were to write an offer today? What price range did your bank or loan officer qualify for? In today's market, it's more important than ever to know that you will be unconditionally be able to get financing. You will hear this called pre-approved. Were you pre-qualified? Were you pre-approved? I mean, this is a script from,
Yeah,
man,
it's huge.
10 years, 12 years ago. So I'll
Right.
send this to you. So that would be one approach, right?
Right.
So I am now doing totally different where I'm doing my seminar and I'm creating business to give to the realtor where I fill up a room. And that's what I figured out is how to market. And I do this all over. I was doing, it was wild. We were doing ads in New York City yesterday.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it was blowing up. I mean, I've Wayne, New Jersey to, I mean, all over, but that's a side. That's my secret weapon right now is knowing how to market and fill up a room and do a home buyer event, which then I convert the people to fill out a loan application and set an appointment with the realtor.
I mean, that's huge. I remember I was doing a loan in Temecula and you're in San Diego. And someone's like, yeah, some guy, Scott Evans, he's doing a home buyer workshop. It was full. I couldn't believe it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God. I started laughing. I'm like, that's incredible. That's hilarious.
So
That was about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
One
Yes.
thing though, I want to just point out to everybody that script he just gave, this is a value add. These are calling people that went to the actual open house, right? This is an activity that you can do to create value for a realtor. And the success rate is probably 10%, I would say. It's probably really low, but the calls themselves don't take long at all. And if you can add a deal or two to your realtor, that's part of that magic that starts happening, especially if you're brand new.
And then I think I've shared this before, but I'll share it again. When we're on appointments, you know, when you're on the appointment with the realtor, and this, I'd be happy to give this as well, but I meant to go here. So there's so many different ways to extract business from a realtor, right?
That's great.
You guys, so this would be generating business in your agent appointment when you're face to face. So Paul, now that we're going to begin working together, I'm going to ask you a series of questions just to drum up some business for both you and I, right?
Right.
Do you have a past client list? Right? We know, let's face it. Are you calling all your past clients, like all the people that you've been, I'm not calling all my past clients, right? I mean, but this is a way that you can create business for both you and the realtor is sometimes they get stuck in these conversations, right? So this is one angle of calling, you know, reaching out past clients, right? And these are all past client questions. Another way is, have you contacted everyone you know and let them know you're formerly in the business, your sphere, every listing agent, right? Will you be taking any new listings this week, right? I mean, that's a way, because if someone's selling a home, typically they're buying something else, right? Are the sellers on their listings moving to a bigger house or downsizing? Another approach, right? Capture business. Is the seller on your listing pre-approved for the next purchase? When was the last time you contacted your expired or cancel listings? Are you holding any open houses, broker open houses, right? Why would that be beneficial, right? Let's say, are there any agents holding open houses for your listings? Have you contacted every agent that has shown your listings? Did you get any offers on your listings that didn't pan out? Have you had any sign or ad calls that you couldn't get a hold of? Right? This is all ways of generating business from different, and these are just asking the questions. Do you have any prospective buyers that need to get pre-approved right now? I mean, that's the typical one we all ask, right? But it's all the way on the bottom because everyone, you know, do you have any buyers that got cold feet or could not get pre-approved? Are there any agents in your office that would benefit from our services, right? Good. That's another way of extracting business. So that's one thing. Here's another nugget for you guys, which I don't know if you guys are even thinking about. Tax benefits. Who's been in the industry for a long time? And do you remember, we all used to say when buying a house, you're going to get the write-off your mortgage interest and real estate taxes. Well, what happened? We stopped talking about it because it wasn't really accurate, was it? For the, you know, when the tax laws changed,
Right.
So let's be honest. Has anyone brought that back up? Let's keep it real, right? None of you have. Well, check it out. There's actually tax benefits again with home ownership.
That's
So
awesome.
everyone that's got loans that had higher interest rates, the amount of mortgage interest that people are having, and in fact, I have email that I've already shared in because I went and looked at it, but this is a nugget. So this is part of my presentation. So this is my new presentation that I'm going to walk you guys.
Definitely not the best idea to eat a fucking soft pretzel, but.
And Bob, we gotta
We got
Bob.
Mike.
Hang on 1 second. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, bud.
So this is my presentation. So this is a 16-page realtor presentation. And I bring this up is let's keep it real. How many of you actually have a realtor presentation that you're using?
No, I don't.
No. Yeah. So you guys are going in winging it
Yes.
with nothing, right? So every other loan officer that goes and meets with a realtor as well is winging it with no presentation.
Yeah.
You go up against me when I'm coming in with a 16-page presentation with a script in my hand,
Yeah.
right? Because today is what we're going to be talking about is generating more buyers in today's market, which I think is a critical topic for us all to discuss because we all could use a little bit of more buyers in today's market.
Yep.
Do we not? Absolutely, 100%. But before I begin, I wanted to share a conversation I had with a realtor, an agent that I was speaking with last week. And he said, Scott, what do you see the biggest difference in today's market versus the market over the past few years? I said, the biggest difference and the biggest challenge that I think agents and mortgage folks are going to have is we actually have to go back to selling real estate again. Yeah. And he says, what do you mean? I've been selling real estate for 3 years. I don't know what you're talking about. I go back to selling real estate again. I've been showing houses. And I happen to agree with him because let's be honest, for the past 2.5 years, it's Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. Do you like the home? They say yes. Great. Sign the contract because 15 others want to buy. I mean, that was selling real estate. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. Right. But in today's market, we actually have to share the reasons why it makes sense to buy. We have to help motivate them to buy. We have to share we have to show the fundamental understandings and the importance of home ownership. And that is the difference that we have in today's market. So for the agents that have been in the business and the industry for years, what we're going to do is we have to unravel what we've been used to and what we've been doing for the past 2.5 years and get back into that rhythm again. And the agents that are new in the industry, you're going to see a slight change. And that change is creating motivations, creating reasons why someone should buy. And that is why you all are here today, because that's what we're going to be covering and a whole lot more. I mean, this is my presentation that I go into for my realtor presentation.
Awesome.
And what I was going to share, the tax benefits for you guys was an email, which I think it kind of sums it up really easily, quickly for you guys. So I did an analysis for an $890,000 home doing 10% down. I used an interest rate of 6.75, the property tax rate of 1.25. It was a $801,000 mortgage, right? So the interest was $53,807. I assumed 11 months, which brought it down to $46,183 in mortgage interest. Additionally, the annual property tax was $11,125. So that means the homeowner would be able to deduct $56,183. Now, remember, the max you can write off is $750. So you take a percentage of the $750 of the 801 mortgage. That's what we did. Mm-hmm. So the total tax write-off, and there's also a cap for the property taxes of $10,000. Mm-hmm. So it was about a $56,000 write-off, which is higher than the standard deduction. Okay. So those that maybe don't know what I'm talking about, you either file a standard deduction or you itemize the mortgage interest and real estate taxes, right? With interest rates being so low, the interest that people were paying was a lot lower. And therefore it made sense for everyone to take the standard deduction. So everyone that's been in the business for a long time, you stop talking about it because it wasn't true. No one's talking about it because no one's filed their tax returns, uncovered the fact of this write-off. So I did as someone making $169,000 a year in income. I don't know why they picked that, but that's what my assistant did. And it was 6836 in federal taxes. So it was about $621 per month in savings. If someone was making 217,000 in income, it was $2,500, $2,600 in federal taxes. So that was $2,159 for the same scenario because there was a higher tax bracket. So huge nugget that you guys can talk about for every agent that's out there. So that's what one value add, that when you guys are making calls, and that's hence helping motivate people to buy, that no one else is talking about.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I love what you're talking about with realtors. You're basically saying our biggest challenge, I'm just rephrasing what you said, is we have to become more I don't want to say salesmen, but we have to more point out the benefits of buying a home and stuff like that, getting people excited for it, things that we haven't looked at before. Am I hearing that right, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, there's reasons why we make phone calls to the agents. Right. Actually, that's actually a great talking point that you guys will.
Yeah, that's next week's for me. Thank you.
No, I'm going to bring up my. I'm just looking for this. I had a pyramid that it talks about all the different ways for calling a realtor. I'm just trying to find it. All right, when I'll find it while we're on the call, because I think it will be helpful. Actually, let me okay. Found it. So these are the steps. I haven't gone over this in a while, but the steps to building a badass purchase business, right?
Awesome.
So there's, I'm just going to roll where to add agents for your accounts pyramid, right? These are different ways. So every listing agent on your purchase transaction, obvious, right? When you're doing the Tuesday updates, attack the listing agent. Your current agents, ask them to introduce to 3 agents that are just like them. Your wedding list agents, which are agents that you're trying to, smooth and go after. Agents that your buyers that you're currently working with, agents in your community, teach agents, I don't know, the clock hour class, I forget what that, and then open houses. So there's 4 low levels of relationships. So the primary level is your go-to lender, right? They push you over others, right? If they have it their way, you would get every deal, right? We have some of those agents. There's the business level. You do joint marketing together, you prospect together, and you share business ideas, book strategies, involved in coaching together. So that's a different level of relationship. You're your program product, person for that agent, right? They know you as an expert in some category, whether you do down payment assistance, VA, FHA, et cetera. For some, I'm now the VA guy, right? I was never in the military, but I'm the VA lender.
That's great.
DSCR, et cetera, right? And then you're the backup lender, right? These are the 4 different levels that agents maybe see you as. When you're creating your pyramid, right, you have 40 to 50 agents that you're prospecting. Then you want to push them into your top 40 realtors. Then your goal is to have a channel account, which a channel account is you're closing 1 closing per month, right? So here would be your channel account. Your accounts that you're closing 1 per quarter would be here. And then your secondary account is you're closing 3 closings per referral. So, I mean, as you move people up into this pyramid, your goal is just to continue to push people up where you're getting more and more channel accounts, which is, obvious of, what we're trying to do. Right. Where there's a account executive call strategy, right?
Yeah.
And which we'll go to. So the leads, pre-approvals, go-to conversations, invites. So these are the different
is.
ways that you're making phone calls to your realtors, right?
Mhm.
So one way is calling on regards to leads. You know, how can we help them convert more of them? So you're going to thank and acknowledge them, give them an update on the status of leads, right? Because agents, you know, the more that you can communicate in regards to leads, they love it. One strategy for you guys to do is maybe a lead incubation where you're sending them a weekly list of the leads that you're working with as far as the status and keeping them up to date. Ask them about the source. This helps me know how committed they are to you and how hard we need to push you as the agent to back them up.
Yeah.
Ask them about the status with the client. Did they meet? Did they actively show homes? Is this a rush? Do they know? So, you know, asking them about the particular lead, about the search criteria, and then programming them. We will contact the lead 7 times at a very minimum. So you're programming the agent.
Right.
And then who else can we be following up for you? So you're kind of programming the agent in regards to leads. The pre-approved clients, help them win their next offer. Does the price point work for you based on what the client wants, or do you want us to push it more?
Mhm.
Right? You're programming them. Other agents use this for a second opinion. So that you're programming that to the agent. Next time you have a client who's priced out, contact us. When making an offer, let us call the listing agent, right? Everyone's obviously doing that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, but that is a
Yeah.
critical call that you're doing. Here's an example call that you might do for the listing agent. You know, Paul, I see that Justin, you know, Dibs made an offer on your listing. I know you can't talk about price. I can't talk about price, but we can talk about terms.
Right.
So I see that Justin wrote a 10-day closing with a 5-day inspection, a 5-day loan approval, and waiving the appraisal contingency with a 20-day rent back to your seller. So I know we can't talk about price, but we can talk about terms. Do you have any other offers that have better terms?
Right.
Because if he does, then I go back to Justin. So that would be an example
That's
call.
great. Yeah.
Dude, I spit fire.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
So that's just an example call to the listing agent that you're gathering information to find out about, is there something, a better offer with better terms? Because there is, and we're going to go back to Justin and we're going to, you know, get the better terms.
Make some adjustments there.
Yeah.
I've never thought of that. I always skate around the purchase price, but that is a direct, and they'll probably bring it up too, I'd imagine.
Yeah. So, then would a faster closing help? You know, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, you know, right now, my team, what we're doing is we're pushing a you know, 10 to 14 day close. I think we're all pushing fast closes. And then a lot of agents use us for the clients that need a super fast close. So programming them, right? So this would be one way. You're programming the client, the agent, to think of you for these certain type of things, right? Next would be go-to conversation, eliminate the fear of making the call. So this could be something to eliminate. So industry, so when you don't know what you're going to call about, right? These are ways to be able to have something to call. Rates and market trends, one way. Loan program, right? You could talk about some new loan program, which I think all of you guys will maybe do. Sales tactic, from an initial lead intake to negotiation tactic, or how to get the deals under contract, right? So you're just learn some type of sales tactic in a book that you can give them. Follow up. If you sent them a video or a book or an email or an audio CD, or you sent them something, some type of gift, follow up on that gift. Did they receive it? Right. Underwriting guideline change, which I think, you know, you guys all probably called, hey, the VA funding fee dropped, or the MIP, right? It's just a go-to conversation. What's a go-to conversation right now? The tax benefits that is shared with you guys, right?
It's huge.
Right. And then, you know, we specialize in a product, right? Team update, right? Or something that's happened with the team or whatever. There's another way. And then if you're inviting them to some type of event is another way of making a call, right?
Yeah.
So those are where the account exact strategy that people talk about. So the art of programming, how do they feel after the conversation? So when you're rushed on a call with them, they feel that you're too busy. If you have low energy, they might feel that you're overwhelmed. If you don't acknowledge the leads or the pre-approvals that you're working with them, they might feel that you're disengaged. If you didn't thank them for the business, you might feel that you're ungrateful. And you didn't program them or a reason to refer you, you're just another basic lender,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you take your time, it shows that you have capacity. When you have high energy on the call, it shows that you're motivated. When you strategize about leads and pre-approvals, you want to help them win.
Man.
When you thank them for the business, you're grateful. When you're program them on a reason to refer, you create separation from competition.
And I really appreciate that, Scott, because I'm on the left side and I don't realize it.
What do you mean on the left side?
So I'm rushed. My energy is really good, I think, but I'm usually rushed and I kind of power through things, and I always end calls quick to get to the next call.
Yeah.
That's got to change. I appreciate that. That's huge. I never thought of it this way.
Yeah, you got to think about how they're feeling.
Yeah, right.
Conversation.
Right. Wonderful, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And then, phone burner is one way, to be able to make phone calls quickly. And then, marketing that runs in the background, weekly videos, monthly mailers, you guys, mastermind group, podcasts, book every quarter, or, strategies that people do. And then here's some data as far as how many agents do you need to get. So one agent counts for about 0.1875 closings per month over a course of 12 months. 10 agents is about 1.875 average deals per month. 50 agents that you're calling on and strategy is about 9.3 average deals per month. 100, 18. So the number of closings divided by 0.1875 is the number of deals on average per month from agents.
Right.
So here's some numbers.
That's huge.
So so I just threw out a whole bunch of information at you guys. So what
truly a numbers game. Truly a numbers game.
Yeah.
Hey, do you mind? I really appreciate you sharing all that stuff. There's so much there. Do you mind if we talk a little bit about your home buying webinar?
Fire away.
Home buyer workshop? How, if you were new, how would you get started in something like that? You don't have to give us all, just a little taste.
I mean, if you do, it'd be somehow get partnered up with me, but
okay, there's one. That's a good option too, by the way. I'm serious.
I'm not gonna lie, man. It took my first 5 events, no one showed up. And I think, and it's not that some people could obviously be able to create it. It's not cheap to do. Right. Each event cost me $7,000 to do. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I've done 350 of them. I mean, I've done a lot of them. So I've invested a lot of time and energy figuring it out. The pivot that I've made recently, I don't know, Paul, do you have like MMI or yeah. So those that do, if you looked at MMI, you would see, one of the top agents that I work with is this guy, Levi Rogers. And what happened, Levi Rogers based out of San Antonio, Texas. And so he's in 2021, COVID shut us all down. And if you're doing a live event, I tried to do these things online, and the lead quality it was the same lead quality, it just sucked. Just there's something about when you're doing them online, the conversion is not, it's not the same.
Right.
So when Texas opened up, I took my seminar and went after the top agents in the market. So if you looked in San Antonio, which is Bexar County, BEXAR, and you just look in, Bexar County, you'll see the list of agents. And the number one is Levi Rogers. So what I created was a ultimate whale prospecting tool. So I, called Levi, the gatekeepers. The problem with going after whales is the gatekeepers that are, blocking everyone to get to those people. Right. But dude, let me show you I'm a visual person, so let me,
Hang on, I'm so
think I have,
sorry.
oh yeah.
Now, go ahead. Someone just walked in my office. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Let me see if I have. Sent this actually to Jeremy first for CA, just like as a visual, to walk out how powerful, what this is. There it goes. I'm sharing this. So there's a pivot that I made recently where I'm not going after the big whales anymore. Now I'm doing these events, which I'm doing my seminar. I'm doing this realtor presentation, and I'm inviting agents that are doing 10 to 30 deals a year. And then I do a whole presentation to the realtors ahead of time. And then I do the seminar right after, and it's just freaking lights out. Because now I'm presenting that I have, where I'm doing these 10, I'll have 10 to 12 agents in the room. I present, this like realtor presentation, which I just shared with some of it, of what I'm doing, like our 7 elements of a winning offer. I mean, it's a whole dialed in presentation, over and over, which there's a whole script to it. And then I do the seminar, and now I'm just providing so much value to those realtors that now the floodgates open up. They're just sending all their other clients that we weren't even getting.
Right.
Now I've just booked an event every single week in San Diego. I'm just doing rinse and repeat. So this is my new pivot. And who's coaching me right now is there's a guy, Matt Weaver, at our company. Matt did about 1,500 purchase deals last year. I mean, he does about 1,200 credit pulls a month. So I hired him to coach me. We went to high school together. You remember? I shared with you, me, Matt, and Craig. So Matt is coaching me, and that was the distinction that he made. He doesn't go after these big whales. He goes after these 10 to 30 unit a year agents. And I realized this is underserved community of agents, because as you go higher, they all want, what do they want? When you go to these bigger agents, they want money, right? You guys all experiencing it, right? So, which I get it. It costs money to create this. And so once I made that distinction, and this is February that I did this, and it's just been a game changer. So now, and now I'm working on getting sponsors for all my events. Someone help us out, VA disability rating, termite company, home warranty, home insurance, like the list goes on. So now I'm working on getting sponsors to freaking pay for my events. And then it's just,
there it is.
But this is what I did, where I went after Levi, San Antonio. This is recent. So you see, I'm now #1 loan officer for him, and he's in bed with AMCAP, right? So AMCAP was his go-to lender. So Levi has 200 buyers agents. He did 3,000 transactions, $900 million in production in 2021, right? So you got to first get that big whale to allow you to work with the team. So it does allow people, the seminar, it allowed me to go into a whole different market, into Texas, right? So this is, one thing I'm doing, but I'll share like another, where I went into Orange County, the same thing, wherever I go. Here was Orange County. I don't know if anyone from Orange County on the call.
Let's see.
Well, anyone that is from Orange County would see these agents that are top on the list of Orange County. So this Jimmy Reed or Elizabeth Doe. So somehow like MM might break stuff up. And then I immediately started calling, Jimmy in August. You get through the gatekeeper, blocking him out, and then he's like, "This is not my cell," or whatever. And then I just scheduled an event. I'm like, "Screw it, I can't, pin this guy down." I'm like, "I'm scheduling an event. Can we do one?" He's like, "Sorry, about out of town." Right. So I then pivot immediately. So this is, you can see the date is in September, and I pivoted right into going after the next agent, Elizabeth Doe. Thanks for the text, put on a great event, then I send her a handwritten card, gift card, so it's literally, and so now, you get these big agents, it's now extracting the business from the team. Right. So that's what I was doing. And then the pivot that I've made is now going after these smaller agents. And I think that's a really big distinction for everyone on the call, that I think that's a really underserved market, that these agents, because we're all going after like higher producing. So I'm still working through it. So the seminar, yes, like how the reason I started doing the seminar 5 years ago, there was this guy in my market. I worked with the #1 and #2 realtors in San Diego, and I had their businesses on lockdown. They were both former military. They both had identical business models, and they hired a whole bunch of veterans and active duty military that are on their team. That's how I became the VA lender, just because of the agents I worked with.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And they were part of something called the Craig Proctor coaching program. Craig Proctor is all about getting the lenders to pay for all the business, right? So, and then they always have multiple lenders. So there's always a #2, a #3, a #4 lender, right? But I was just so big as a team that they couldn't compete with me, right?
Right.
Trucking along year after year, things are going great. And then 5 years ago, whatever, that was, I think the year I lost to as #1 loan officer at cross country. I think you were still here at that time, right? There's this guy, Greg Kursmarsky, that started doing these seminars, and he figured out how to do it. And then what happened is I became the backup lender for these accounts, because all the deals that were in contract now were from the seminar that I was the #2. I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to lose these accounts. If I don't, he's going to grow a team. He's going to get them. So it created a massive amount of pain. And as you know, with Tony, pain, so I'm like, I had to figure out a way of doing it. So I kept investing in figuring out. I hired consultants across the United States, and just, and then anyone that's in San Diego knows, like, there's so many people that are also trying to do these events as well. It's very interesting that everyone tries to do a VA seminar. In San Diego, when you do a VA seminar, half the room wants to buy somewhere else in the United States. So we also do regular traditional home buying seminars as well. Everything I do is on Facebook marketing. I've tried all these different social media. Facebook is the way to go.
Yeah, that's huge.
When doing an event, we have a texting system that we use called preapprovals, that when someone signs up with an ad, we then push it into preapprovals, which we then have some type of texting, because you need a way to be able to communicate with someone signing up for an event, right? Text is the future. So you guys need to all embrace and get some type of text automation and work in there, that route. So
I agree.
What was this? I just got pitched a seminar system for 7,000 from AXP agent a couple months ago from Justin. Who is the EXP? Where was that at?
I somehow got on his coaching list, and they're pitching like a system. So it sounds very similar to what you were talking about, but very complicated.
Who is it, Mark? Or do you know?
I can't remember the name, but I went. They had like an automated portal set up explaining kind of what you're talking about in terms of doing a seminar and how you do it and all this stuff, and how you can, use it as a lender to drive business to agents and vice versa and all that kind of stuff. So, based on what you just explained,
was it like a porch light, or you don't, or doesn't it? No.
Porch light. No, that doesn't sound familiar, but it was, I think it was more geared, this particular one was geared towards first time buyers, but, same thing as kind of what you've been explaining. So I thought it was interesting based on what you just said. I'm like, wow, okay, now this program, or what you're talking about, this system's making the rounds now, and more people are finding out about it. And
I mean, there's a lot, and don't get me wrong. Like, look, you guys, I figured out how to do it. Everyone can figure out how to, you can do it, but it is it is a costly endeavor to do, because people, and I'll give you some things that I've learned along the way with doing it, is that I usually do my events at a Dave & Buster's or some type of more well-known establishment. It's a little easier to get people to go to it. The thing about when you're doing some type of establishment like that, they have a minimum, minimum beverage amount, right? Or minimum amount. And so therefore you need to have an estimated people of how many people are coming, right? So that's the challenge is, when you're doing it. So therefore I needed a way to be able to convert people at the time to know how many people are going. And it's usually always a 50% show up rate because it's a free event, right? So that's why I say the event costs $7 grand, because I spend around $3 grand in marketing, and then the food and drinks and staff and stuff like that for event is another 25 to $3 grand. And the reason why I went after these big whale accounts, because I would push the food and drinks to them, and then I would pay for the marketing and control the marketing, and then they would have do the food and drinks. Now these people don't convert right away, like, because you're getting them right in the beginning stages.
Right.
And I'll just to share you guys of I think this will be also very powerful to look at. There we go. So I did one for another branch in Washington, right? They got 28 applications. There's 90 people that came to the event. It was a VA seminar, right? And so the whole thing about an event, though, is it's about the realtor, right? So we're doing this all to create business for the realtor, and the realtor is a critical piece of the equation. And so we actually probably had 130 names, numbers, and emails from that event that now they're push it out to the realtors the following day. So now we're giving the realtor all these names, numbers, and email. Here's all the different applications, right, for this event. I'm just going to pick one just to get an example, but I mean, so you guys see a visual of this was a realtor appointment right here, right? And then, income, right? Assets. Do you have a realtor? Yes or no? Right? No realtor, no lender. I mean, it's game changer. I mean, this is like, talk about value, right? That we're providing is we're creating people that are filling out loan applications that are setting appointments with a realtor. So that's our customers, the realtor. So, I mean, you could see how, and sometimes you guys don't maybe have the team members to be able to figure that type of stuff out, but it is definitely, education's not going anywhere. So it is, that's why I say, for me, I've pivoted what I do, because now I realize from the beginning of my career was creating, business to give to a realtor. Now I really truly have creating business to give to a realtor. So I just can go after whoever I want. So that's why I'm confident I will eventually be #1 lender in the US by taking this model. How do you get them to fill out the application? You just showed us is the price of a minute. No. So the presentation that you're doing, I'm presenting to these, doing a whole presentation to the audience, handling all the objections to get them to move forward. So it's not they're coming in to learn, but then we motivate, like what I said, we have to motivate the client and explain. So I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
When I do a home buyer event, so someone talked about first time home buyer. I don't really think that you should be doing first time home buyers. You should do a regular home buyer seminar, because when you're doing first time home buyer, you're pigeonholing yourself, right? Because you get what you promote out there. So if you're pushing down payment assistance, you're going to get down payment assistance.
Yep.
So why wide net? On average, actually, I have this right here. Here's the, okay. So this was a poll sent out to 10,000 consumers. So this was, years ago, but said, how much of a down payment do you think you need to buy a $400,000 home? On average, most people said $40,000 or more. But you all know it's not true. I mean, you buy 3% down, 3.5% down, right? VA, no money down, right? Literally a third of the room. And in fact, a lot of people actually think they have to have 20% to put down. It's the unaware consumer. They just don't know that that's possible. Second question, how high of a credit score do you think you need to buy a house? On average, the people responded a 721 score or higher, right? Which you all know, FHA down to a 580 with 3.5% down. You can do 10% down with in the 500s for the FHA. VA, no credit score requirement. Conventional, even the most strictest program still is a 620. And then do you think it costs more to own than to rent? And on average, they all thought it cost more to own. In addition, I mean, many of the room, a third of the room, think it costs money to hire a realtor to go buy a house. They don't understand how it works, that the seller is the one who's paying the commission. So someone asked, like, how do we convert? We're teaching the people like no other. Like when we're doing these events, they love us after the event. And then we close on them.
Right.
Now is the time to take next step. If I teach you guys way more than you anticipated learning, come to my event, I ask you guys to do 2 simple free things. This is only if I honor my word. Number 1, I need you guys to pull out of your packet. There's something called a home buyer profile, which you guys is a loan application. Pull out that home buyer profile. You're going to need you guys to fill that out. The second thing is you're going to set an appointment with the top realtors that I have here. And then I set that for the beginning. So then when I go to close, I'm like, hey, did you guys learn way more than you anticipated?
Yeah.
Yes, they all did. I know the answer is going to be yes. All right. I honored my word. Now you guys, it's time for you guys to honor yours. Let's go. Let's make it different. Or my opening of the presentation. You guys, we got 3 rules for tonight. Rule number 1, we all agree we're going to have fun. Get the crowd going. No, right. They're like, yeah, no, I said, we're all going to have fun. So I'm prepping the audience. Rule number 2 is I'm going to give each and every one of you guys 110%. So is it okay if I give you guys 110%? They're like, yeah, Rule number 3 is this is an interactive presentation. The more that you guys engage, interact with me, the more I pour into each and every one of you guys. Make sense? All right. So I know I said there's 3 rules. I lied. There's actually 4 rules. Bonus rule number 4, that's a take action. I don't want you guys to listen and leave. I want you to decide and do, because success comes to those who take action. Would you not agree? Yes. So I'm prepping them to take action in the event, the seminar.
Awesome.
So
that's wonderful.
Yeah. So what other answer? I got a ton of stuff, but
I mean, that is incredible. I think that's programming right there. That's a word you kept using. I've noticed that too. You program people.
Yeah. You guys, look, I'm no different than any of you.
Man.
I mean, we all have our quirks. I worked hard. I was able to create a business. I like this market right now. It's tough for all of us. You're not alone, but the person that I'm evolving to become due to this market is, it's pushing me. So have it all push all of you guys and, evolve. So that's really, you're going to get popped, in no time with rates eventually coming back down, and there'll be a refi opportunity, but don't forget the pain that you're experiencing now and get off track of truly creating a sustainable business. And purchase business is the sustainable business. And that's really what the focus on. It's a numbers game when you're going out building, relationships with realtors. Doesn't happen overnight. And they're saying someone's name. They're creatures of habits, right? This is who they're saying. This is who they're referring their business to. And part of that is once you're in front of them, then you got to maintain, the relationship and extract that business off of them. And sometimes they're just not. And I'll use like political, right? We got Republicans and Democrat, right? You're gonna have people, if you're a Republican, you have your people that are your fan club, right? And you're always trying to convert the Democrats over, right? Or vice versa. So you just got to really just know that your audience. And that was a big distinction, that I was always trying to convert these people. And sometimes you just can't convert them. And you just got to move on to the next person. So it's hard to determine sometimes, like, who, there, but there's just continue to go, and you're going to find people that you develop a relationship with, because they say that people work with people they know, like, and trust.
Yeah. Awesome. Just like your text message, the guy said no, you're off to the next person. Right? Didn't try to change your dates, didn't try to do anything. You just, all right, take care.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to say, I'm losing my voice, is that, it's really tough to be a new loan officer in this market. We were just kind of talking about it. And personally, I truly, truly, truly feel this. This is another thing why I have Loan Officer Academy, is if you are alone and you're struggling, you probably need a mentor. And, Scott, what's it look like? I mean, are you in all states? Are you looking for people to, help with these seminars with loan officers? Is there an opportunity there?
Yeah, Paul, I don't know if you know, I mean, I left cross country last year. I went to go try to do my own thing. And then I first I was going to go UWM, the mini correspondent route, and it was just a lot of work. And then I went, did a joint venture, and it was too small of a company. So my vision is I do want to take my seminar and take that out across the United States, and cross country is a platform for me to take that vision. Because I feel like I've created this freaking plug and play system.
Yeah.
So there is opportunities for people anywhere in the US. I mean, I just mentioned we were doing stuff in New York just because there was a person in New York that was working. So I have different business models where there's people that are coming on that'll take everything that I'm doing and just, roll with it. Yeah. I mean, Arizona, I do, whoever said Arizona, I mean, we just did a seminar last week, in the 15th. I do them in Tennessee, Ventura. I mean, right now we have in Redding, Modesto, Concord, San Jose, freaking all over the place. I mean, you could do people want education no matter wherever you're at.
Right.
And we either do a VA or a home buyer seminar. So I've put millions of dollars figuring this out. It's a now plug and play system. So for the right people and what makes sense, then it's something that's my value proposition to give to people is to take everything I'm doing. And you talked about mentors. I paid $100,000 for Matt Weaver to coach me, right? I mean, we're always having mentors in our lives, right? So it's just, we could always learn from someone out there. And I'm constantly, having someone teach me and mentor me. So I have lots of different coaches. I have a relationship coach, right? I mean, every Thursday that's all from Tony stuff that I've learned from masculine and feminine energy. So I have a masculine energy coach, Paul. I mean, it's probably my favorite coach.
That's actually amazing. Truthfully.
Yeah. So there's a book called The Masculine Relationship.
Yeah.
Hands down. GS Youngblood is the author. I freaking sought GS Youngblood to coach me, the author of the book. So that is
so life-changing. I mean, I don't want to, we start talking about Tony Robbins and all that stuff, man. That has been incredible. Like the relationship weekend he puts on, or week he puts on, is just insane.
Yeah. So masculine, feminine energy. So Masculine in Relationship by GS Youngblood. Paul, hands down, best book. I mean, have it on my desk, but that's a whole side note.
That's awesome.
But yeah, mentor, definitely have someone you can always learn. There's always someone that's you be chasing and learn from. So hopefully this was valuable.
Huge.
Did you guys, I spit out a whole bunch of stuff. You recorded it so you could play it back.
Yep.
And I
appreciate it, Scott. I got to tell you, I want to thank you for all the guidance you've given me in the past. You're a really huge part in my success. I really want to thank you for that. And thank you for taking the time today.
No doubt.
An hour. And I hope the Lakers beat the Phoenix. I can't stand that Durant went there. So tonight I'll be a Lakers fan.
So that's good. All right, guys.
Right on, man.
Dallas, I'll see you later. Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Later, Scott. Thanks, man.